Now I'm the gal that's chasing you up. Flip my lid. Come here, eager beaver, baby.
Hello and welcome to
Was That an Orgy? Woo!
starring Charlene and Teresa Bawd, two sisters that explore the topics of sex, sexuality, gender, and sex positivity. We will also try to answer the question, was that an orgy?
Oh, yeah!
You did. You're building the city on cock and hole.
Cock and hole!
Yeah, cock and hole.
Cock and hole. Cock and
Yeah,
hole.
cock and hole, cock and hole. So who'd you do this weekend?
Well, let me tell you, I had COVID. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah,
Ah.
luckily, and not by design, but luckily I did have a partner who also had COVID.
That you gave COVID to.
That
the
I
gift,
gave
the
COVID
gift
to.
that keeps on giving.
On our second date, I gave him
Oh,
COVID.
Char, you really like this guy.
I know.
Yeah. You're like, oh, how can I keep him around? I'll
I
give him a
know.
disease.
I'll get him really sick and make him hang out with me.
Yeah, that's
Great
that's
idea.
what I do too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
here's your HPV. You know, I guess I'll be seeing you again soon.
Since you can't see
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yeah, unless your warts are blistering and
Oh,
making-
God.
been there, done that, had those surgically removed. Anyway,
Yeah, didn't
Moving
we
on.
all?
I know, right?
Haven't we all?
I think I've told that story on the show. I won't go
Oh,
there
God,
now.
you did. Yeah.
God,
What
terrible.
did she call it? The ugly.
Oh,
the big ugly.
The big ugly. When she
big
she
ugly.
extracted the big wart when I was 18, she pulled it out by the pubic hair attached to it and said,
Oh, my-
"We'll name this one Big Ugly." And I was like, "Why? What OBGYN in the right mind names a wart?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she was a puppeteer on the side.
Oh my God. Yeah. She wanted
Mhm.
to animate it. So
Yeah.
she put 4 hairs. She left 4 hairs on
Yeah.
it so she could animate
Dude,
it like
that
a
sounds like
marionette.
the most fucked up animation that I would love instantly. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
I believe having COVID has made me more creative.
I could see that.
I've been now sober for 9 days because of COVID. And I swear to you, it's like I'm high all the time from COVID brain. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has its own special brain damage, unlike alcohol. It's a different kind of brain damage.
It is. It's just this sort of like foggy haze. And you're like, ooh, anything entertaining is really awesome because I'm
Yeah.
so fucking bored.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have no sense of smell, so you're eating more ass. I imagine.
I wish.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so you didn't have your usual like escapades this weekend.
No, I was not. What'd you say? Successful?
Successful. Yes,
Yeah.
you weren't successful.
And I didn't have to
Successful.
be organized either.
Right. That's
'Cause I
good
had
because
not-
you're quarantined.
Oh,
Who gives a
exactly.
fuck?
Yeah.
I know.
So,
I love it.
Obviously, I'm finally out of quarantine.
Yay!
So next week, when we have a guest, we will have much more to talk about.
Yay!
But I did do some reading.
Oh,
I did lots of
wow.
reading.
Not
while
all
I
of
was
your
sick.
brain was compromised.
That's right.
Yeah.
Although I'd read for like, an hour and then I'd be like, so tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you stayed at it because you couldn't be as distracted because you only had one leva that you could choose from.
True. True. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's going
Yeah.
around. My roommate has it.
Uh,
Yep. Yep. It's just going around.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like sort of getting numb to it all.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a part of me that when she got it, I was like, I'm next.
Yeah.
Every day that I have allergies, I'm like, that's it. I have it. Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay. Here, bring it on. And the shitty part about it is that, if you get it, there's almost like this sense in my mind that like, I almost want it because then I think I'm going to get immunity. But there's
Yeah.
so many strains.
Yeah.
You don't know,
Yeah.
which strain you could get. And all the people that I know that have already had it have then gotten it again.
Yeah. So
Not all of them, but
I'll
most.
definitely get the next booster that comes out like in the fall or whatever. But I think like I've definitely caught this strain, this current one. So
Yeah. And when
know.
you do, the pharmacist I saw said, do the Moderna. It's more powerful. And
Yeah.
it being more powerful, it does what it did to me for the last 3 days, which is just fuck your world.
yeah.
Like for 3 days. I don't remember the last time I felt that sick.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it was probably like the first couple days of COVID because I
Mhm.
would say like the first 3 days I was just sleeping and sweating
Yeah, sweating. And like, every time I would go to like pull my pants down to get on the toilet, I'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Skin hurts.
Skin hurts. Everything hurts. Oh.
And that weird feeling when like your jaw aches and it's like your teeth hurt, like everything just
Yeah.
yeah.
You get out of bed and you put your feet on the ground, and just that even makes you go, oh. Yeah.
You just reminded me of like the SNL jizz in my pants sketch.
Yeah.
Because I jizzed in my pants and the guys are just like,
Yeah. That was me.
That was
I
you.
wish
You
I
were
was-
just jizzing your pants
I
every
wish
time
I
you touched the
was.
floor.
I just sounded like that in my jizz-sounding misery. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
So one of the things that I read was an article, 7 trigger words that make people fall in love with you.
Oh, you could make someone fall in love with you?
Hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
And I don't want you to fall in love with me. I want you to fall in love with this false version of me that I'm going to go ahead and show you.
Yeah.
No,
I love it.
I hated the phrasing of the article. And I put a link to the article. I hate the phrasing of the title. I think there might be some good things we can talk about in there. Some nuggets.
We can make it good.
Some
we'll
nuggets.
Make it good.
We can take that turd and we're going to roll it in some glitter for you.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
We're going to frost that turd.
Yeah.
Extrapolate the undigested corns and nuts in it. And make it delicious again.
Because that's the good part.
That's the good part.
Yeah. You're just going to get the nuts. We're going to give you the corn and nuts, and all the squishy brown stuff. We'll leave that out.
Yeah, exactly.
So the first word to make someone fall in love with you.
Go on.
It's trust. Like
trust.
I trust you.
Yeah, I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Immediately felt a knee-jerk reaction to that of fuck no.
Yeah.
Like you should only say that if you really do trust someone, and you should only trust someone if they're actually deserving of your trust.
Yeah.
Like I saw that and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna turn people into like floor mats. Like what's going on? This is a horrible idea to just be like, I mean, being open-hearted is great, but like, wow, you gotta, we all have to do some judging at some point on some level, especially around dating and romance.
Yeah, discerning,
yes,
right, exactly.
It's not mean judgment.
The whole title of the article is kind of like suspect to desperation and insecurity, because like, do you want to make someone fall in love with you, like you said, under false premises,
right?
Or do you really just want to like be present and open to the option of just like being open, authentic, and discerning and honest with yourself and the other person, as if it's not a right match?
Right.
Are you resonating with each other?
Yeah. If you're not resonating, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't Mountain do it.
Don't. Yeah. Just don't do the do. Second word is work. Like, and this one I also was like, I'm not so sure about it. They say it in the sense of you're gonna have to work harder than that to get me. Yeah. And I think that's playing games. Like
unless it's true.
Yeah. I mean, if it's true, it's true.
Right.
That's great. Being open and honest about those things is really awesome. And to be like, yeah, I'm not exactly sold on the idea of us right now. So you're going to have to work harder than that. Or we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. You know?
I can see that too, because, I think that in relationship psychology, as I've read a lot of it, a lot of people think that they need to be sort of acquiescing doormats to get someone. But a lot of people, and especially like, I've read a lot about like just how, it's more men that prefer to be the pursuers. I know it's different probably in like gay relationships. I don't know how that works exactly. But in heterosexual relationships, they say that like, men just have a natural apparatus. Modus operandi. I've had 2 margaritas.
The MO.
The MO thing. Modus operandi. I dyslexiated it. Yeah. Which is to be the hunter, the pursuer. And that, they want to have something that is of value. And if something's too easy, then it smacks of like desperation. And they also inherently want to be with someone who they can feel is a strong partner that's going to help them grow as well. This is in general speaking, not everybody.
Right.
So it's like, being able to just not be a doormat.
Yeah.
Someone who wants a doormat is probably a little bit of a perpetrating pathological character to some degree. So,
oh my God. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So being able to say, I'm not a doormat. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just
Can get
looks
behind
like
that.
asking for what you want, telling someone, when something's okay or when something's not okay,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just it's more communication. Look at
More
that. More talk,
of
talk,
all the
talk.
things. Yeah.
Oh my
And that's-
God.
And I think that's challenging in the beginning of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good to keep that in your mind because it's going to come out eventually. In the
It
beginning,
will.
you're just like, I'm just a pretty place to put a penis or, whatever you want. But yeah, it's going to come out eventually. You can't repress the essence of who you are forever.
That is true. And so just don't even do it. Like
Don't
from
do
the
it.
very beginning, just don't do
Mhm.
it. And realize that you're not for everyone and that's okay.
We need to make some tennis shoes with the anti-Nike swoosh on it, upside down. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
That's the self-respect sneaker.
Girl, just don't do it.
Girl or guy or they
They
don't do it. Don't do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them fatale.
Isn't
that great?
That's great.
I heard that and I was
Them
like,
fatale.
oh, I've met some them fatales.
I love
For
that.
sure. I love it.
Yeah.
Number 3 word to make someone fall in love with you is good or great. Having a positive personality.
Yeah.
Again, I would say if that is your natural inclination, that's wonderful. And also, don't fake it. That's bullshit. Nobody like the whole I've heard a lot of toxic positivity sort of thing talk lately. And there is something to that. Like if things aren't great and you're at the grocery store and someone says, "How you doing?" You know what? Just try saying like, "Meh, I'm all right."
Yeah.
Don't lie. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to just acknowledge that not every day is going to be the best day of your life.
Just tell that cashier, like, I had an anal polyp that just burst and, it's very painful. It's leaking right now. I've got anal leakage.
I'm trying to get out of here as fast as possible. And now I'm stuck explaining my anal leakage.
Traumatize them. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I had a boss from Germany that he always said he was just amazed that people would ask, "How are you?" and then not listen to the answer here. Because I guess in Germany, it's more culturally appropriate to either just not ask, "How are you?" Or if you're asking, "How are you?" you're in for the story. You're like, okay, and I'm going to really listen to you about this.
That's
so,
interesting.
yeah. And so that made me more aware of like when someone's asking, I try to pause and really self-assess and go, how am I?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I'm
too honest. I'll tell everybody, just like whatever. Like, I've said to a cashier before, I'm fucking hungover. I'm torn up.
Yeah.
I'm a torn up bitch today. And they're like, I'm sorry I asked. It's good. It causes people to sort of like question the conditioning we have as to socials,
Yeah.
conditioning. So there you go.
Yeah. And you leave the door open for them to be honest too. Like they might
How
be
are
like,
you?
yeah, I had to work at 6 a.m. and I was out till 2 or,
And I had anal
whatever.
polyps too.
Yeah,
exactly.
My butthole's leaking from different stuff. I took about 5 loads earlier.
Yeah. Hashtag Santorum.
Running down my legs.
Yeah.
All right. You, the word you. And so what that means is basically let someone talk about themselves. And I
Mhm.
believe that is something that we are definitely conditioned to do as female-bodied individuals.
Yes.
So let's
we
say
got that.
everyone, but everyone should learn to ask questions, let people talk about themselves, and really listen to the answers. That's also an important thing. You don't want to, forget and then ask the same question again like 5 minutes later or something. Well, if you do it 5 minutes later, maybe, you might want to get checked out.
You might have ADD. You might need Adderall.
Yeah, you might. And that's very helpful.
Well, I think what's good about that line is that a lot of us in our insecurity and desire for attachment feel like, we can, in a conversation, be putting out things to solicit some just confirmation or validation from the other person.
Yeah.
And really, the other person's wanting that too. So if you are trying to make someone fall in love with you, giving them the validation, could be more the angle. But, that's the interesting thing about the premise of the article again is making someone fall in love with you.
I'm going to make you fall in love with me. Do you hear me?
I want to have the power in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's just it's sort of a covert way of trying to get the upper hand.
Right.
I want you to be in love with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to love me more than I love you. So then I will have mucherous.
I will have mucherous.
We're back to mucherous.
Back to mucherous. That's a childhood game, Char, and I used to play when we were kids. And on Halloween, we would just be hiding part of our Halloween candy so that then we'd pretend to each other that like we ran out of candy and the other person would get a false sense of power.
Yeah.
And then we would come out with our secret supply and be like, hey, I have mucherous than you. And then we'd have the power. So fucked up.
And then it would be like, and mine's Butterfingers and yours is just lame Jolly Ranchers.
I saved all the things you want. I'm going to eat them in front of you.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is what childhood relationship is like when you move from military base to militaries and you just have each other to deal with. We worked out all of our primitive shit with each other.
We really did. Yeah.
I'm still working
Including
through it. I'm not going to lie.
Shit. Yeah. Like actual physical shit. We worked out some
you pooped in the bathtub.
I did for sure.
Yeah.
And then I tried
to
squish
peed on
it
your
down
leg.
the drain.
I peed on your leg. It's fair.
You did.
It's even.
We're even.
Yeah,
we're
we're
even. Please, Lord, we're even, please.
I love that we can say all this stuff on air and still get laid too.
And then be like, yep. Even the worst pickup lines work as a lady.
As a lady.
Wish. Number 5 is wish. Like, I wish you were here. So
expressing desire.
Yeah, expressing desire.
Now
which
that
I get
vibes with me.
behind that.
I get behind that shit too.
That is authentic right there.
Yeah.
Authentic shit.
Because I think most of us want that. We want to feel desired. But some people have a hard time expressing that because of like, it can come from a couple of different standpoints. I think one is low self-esteem. Like, and I've worked through this where it's like, who wants, if I don't feel desirable and worthy, then who wants my desire? Yeah. I'm afraid of being rejected, but, and then I forgot the other point because I had 2 margaritas.
That's all right. The other point is margarita number 2.
Yeah, woo! It's a good afternoon.
Understand. So this is showing empathy.
Right.
Okay. So I understand. So it goes back to listening, understanding. I would even add a little bit of active listening is a great thing.
Oh, go on, Char.
Yes.
You make me touch myself. Oh God. Active listening. One of my fetishes.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
But yeah, active listening is basically you take what the person just said and you repeat it to them using your own words, basically, but try to be as accurate. And then you can even say, is that about right? Or does that sound accurate? Right. Or does that sound like what you're saying?
Right.
To get confirmation that, you're really hearing that. And that's especially a wonderful thing to do when it's hardest to do, which is during conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is, I feel like it's a tried and true way to kind of be able to diminish that potential of things going to war. And
yes,
I've used that before. Like when you're feeling most defensive and when it feels like the last thing you want to do, that's probably the best time.
I agree. That definitely is.
Yep.
It's a secret weapon.
It's like, go fuck your own ego and just do the hard thing, which is actively listen. And then, a lot of the time when you do that, the other person starts to drop their battle axe, because they're like, oh, you're finally listening to me. That's what we both want all the time.
Yeah.
Is to be listened to.
Yeah.
And I've found that, like, as I've observed myself in conflict in the past, that's something that I have unwittingly done, is if the other person isn't actively listening and they retort to me with some kind of defensive response, I don't feel heard. So then I try to find a new way of saying what I'm saying, because what I really want is just like validation and confirmation that they understand me. Not that they agree with me, but that they understand me. They hear and believe in and validate that that is my emotional experience.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all you need, really. And they can say, you know, this is what I'm hearing you say, da 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 da. And then they can even say, yeah, I'm having some challenges with that. But I don't think at the moment, I've been trying to think through like how to do conflict better. And it's like, I don't think you need to retort at the time. You can say, I think I have some challenges around that, and can we follow up later or something like that? Because it isn't always like sometimes it's better if one person gets heard, feels heard.
I agree.
And then the next time, maybe the other person gets to feel heard.
Yeah. I think what's important is to make sure, like, if you're the listener, if you're receiving the information, to do what you said, where you're like, you put it back in your own words and say, if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is da 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 da. Give them a chance to make a correction. It's the sender of the message. There's the sender and the receiver. The sender of the message then has that opportunity to say, like, well, okay, that's close, but not quite. The thing I would tweak is this. Then the recipient has an opportunity to say, like, okay, so you're saying this. And then once you have it, you're clear with each other. I think that it is important to be able to say from the sender's perspective, and what I want is, and be really clear about what you want. And then I think after that's all clear, then that's a good time for the receiver to say, like, is it okay if I respond now? Can I respond to that now? As to like basically whatever the request is, you might be feeling like, well, I can't be in good constitution within myself and do what you ask of me. What I can do is this, like start to do that kind of like, cooperative, solution oriented, thinking. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you need to take a time out to think about it, you can also do that.
Take a time out. Get in the corner.
Yeah.
See?
Just to make sure, feel your body. Are you feeling activated? If you're activated, maybe take a beat.
Yeah.
An hour even.
Yeah.
An hour.
Go beat off.
Go
take
beat
a
off.
beat. Go beat off.
Go take a beat off.
Get some blood in that frontal lobe. That's what I call it now, the frontal lobe.
The final, the lower lobe.
The lower lobe.
The final word to make someone fall and to make people fall in love with you is dislike. And this one is the one that I dislike the most, because it says similar dislikes encourage bonding. But this sounds like, oh my God, you hate spaghetti. I do too. You know what I mean? It sounds like kind of pretending to dislike something because the other person's already expressed some distaste around it or something like that. I think it's true. It's good to say, yeah, I like this. I dislike that. But don't just do it to bond with someone.
Right.
Dislike a thing because you honestly really dislike it. Don't dislike something to make someone fall in love with you. I guess that was the bullshitty part to me, was just like, really? This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like negativity bonding.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
In a closed-hearted way. Let's just talk about everything we hate together.
Yeah.
It's going to foster a more closed-hearted connection. I don't know. I don't like that either.
Yeah. It feels judgy. It's like, you know what I hate? I hate stupid people.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Everyone's
Me
stupid
too.
but us.
You're not
Kate.
stupid.
Yeah.
Except when you fuck up. Then I'm going to think you're stupid.
Yeah. It kind of creates a what's it called? Like a climate of like contentiousness, and superiority, like
right.
judgment.
Yeah.
And judgment is a thing that we use to kind of like be able to justify closing off our hearts to people. And I think the world needs the opposite of that.
More open hearts.
More open farts.
More open farts, but not open fart surgery.
Yeah. Not that.
Yeah. So I gotta
Sounds
say
painful.
that thing I read in general felt a little inauthentic, and I think
Where'd you find this? Elle magazine or like
it was on
Marie Claire?
It was in one of the poly groups that I'm in.
Shit! I know how to
Online.
do.
So no, it's okay.
Okay.
But it's good to talk about the good and the bad out there.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful.
Then I read a really good article.
Oh, good.
About
do smell
the 6 rules for open relationships.
Okay.
I think there are probably a lot more than 6, but
yeah, there's as many as you want there to be. So
totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say these are the 6 rules, but I want to call all of these things agreements.
I like it. That's better. Codes of conduct.
Yes.
Agreements.
Because rules are things that you can impose on yourself. But no one should be imposing them on you.
Right.
That feels yucky. And
it does.
I would say, rules, boundaries even. You can agree on the boundaries that you will both have, but no one else can set boundaries for you. Only you can set your own boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
You as a sovereign being. Make your own rules and boundaries. Put that flag firmly in your pubes. Fly your freak flag in your pubes.
I like it.
So the first rule for open relationships is set sexual boundaries. Agreements, I would say. Have agreements between you and your partner around what you feel like you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And I would say this is especially important in the beginning. Be a little conservative. Take it slow in the beginning.
Right. Yeah, right. I think that's a good idea. I think in the beginning, we kind of tend to want to. Well, we have a tendency. I watched a TED Talk show about like how we're all liars because we are constantly lying about who we are. We're putting forward this facade about like, what we think is more lovable, who we think is the more lovable version than us. And it's really important, like, not to do that. It's like if you do the hard work in the beginning, life gets easier. If you start trying to, like, just get away with stuff in the present moment because, whatever desperation and insecurity, you're just making it harder for yourself in the long run.
Right.
So, yeah, just being, transparent from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That is true. We do. Yeah. Humans do lie. We put up masks all the time. But going back to that first one, setting those sex boundaries and really agreeing with them, making sure there's some agreement between you. Sometimes in the very beginning, you're going to have to go slower than the fastest person. You're going to have to, the slower partner is going to have to, set the pace, but make sure you're not sandbagging and stonewalling and controlling and stuff like that. Like, that can also be a thing.
Yeah. And that's part of the transparency that's so necessary is that, like, when we're sandbagging and things like that, we're just kind of like withholding the words that we should be saying.
Which is, I'm uncomfortable with this.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just like withdrawing, shutting down, stonewalling.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to say in daycare when I worked daycare, use your words. Use your words, kids.
Use your words. It's true. And
it never ends.
Words are so helpful.
They're so helpful.
And yes, you can really expand your vocabulary. So these agreements could look like, it's okay to use your fingers, but not your penis when you touch someone, or I would be more comfortable if you left your pants on, or hey, it's go all the way, but use a condom, or whatever that looks like. But make sure you're in agreement. The agreements are clear ahead of time. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, people. Very simple.
Yeah, like Judge Judy's self-help book. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah,
stupid. Especially when you get the sex brain.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's so important in the beginning to actually do the hardest work of that kind of self-advocating transparency, because you're really setting the foundation of a relationship. Like the beginnings of relationships, they're exciting. Everything's turned up to 11.
Yeah.
You know, the new relationship energy is really, you know, awesome and exciting and addictive. But yeah, you also have to step it up with that self-advocacy work because yes, you're creating a relationship.
And when you're opening a relationship, you are recreating a relationship. So so a lot of that same excitement exists. So you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Don't walk around with big old clown shoes.
Yeah.
I might have done that.
Yeah, being everything's fine. This is fine. Honk honk. You know,
honk honk, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, honk honk, honk honk, honk honk. The second rule, and I agree with this one, is set emotional boundaries or agreements. So that could look like, you know, usually in a situation where you're more like swinging, you would have, you know, your primary partner, your spouse or whatever. And then the sexual engagement that you have with other people is really like friends with benefits. There generally isn't a whole lot of romantic attachment. Whereas if you look at polyamory, that's more emotional. You know, it leaves space for more emotional attachment, for more romantic attachment.
Where there isn't a primary.
Well, there could be a primary.
Oh, okay.
And you could say, so someone that I know has a primary relationship, and they're also open to, they could fall in love with other people and stuff like that. But that doesn't take away from their primary relationship.
Yeah.
It's I have a friend who said it's not pie. You know, it's not pie. It's not like if you give some away, there's going to be less for you. You know, we're not. It's not. It's a automatically renewing.
Right.
You know, supply.
It's more of a fungus that builds.
You know, love is a fungus.
Love is a bacterial infection.
And there are so many like shades in between those two examples that I just gave, where it's like it could be, you know, so, and I love that we're saying set emotional boundaries as if we can really control our emotions.
Right.
We can control our intention going into things, but whether or not you develop feelings for someone, I don't know. I mean, I sort of feel like you can't make yourself, and you can't not make yourself to develop feelings for someone.
Right.
So that one's tricky for me. I mean, you could say these are the actions I will or will not do around how I'm feeling emotionally. So I will not text this person every night saying, "Good night, schnookums," or whatever. So you can set boundaries around your actions, around the emotions, and you can set an intention of what you'd feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But where that actually goes could be vastly different. And there is part of that. That is like, to me, that's really the tricky part of open relationships is you can't control how you're going to feel about everything, whether it's jealousy, whether you fall in love, whether you hate someone, whether you hate their partner, or, you know, it's like all of that. I mean, you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. That's about it.
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah.
The more I learn about it, the more that tends to be like the focus, you know, as I kind of like enter kind of embracing ethical non-monogamy and, you know, allowing come what may, no pun intended, is that a lot of it keeps directing me back to myself, back to being responsible for my own emotions and being transparent and letting the pieces fall where they may. And that's definitely it's a more frightening path than the monogamous path I've chosen in the past. But then at the same time, there's a lot of strength and introspection. Like it's I think it's supporting me in having a better relationship with myself because that's the only thing I know that I can rely on.
Right.
You know, and it's not to say, you know, don't allow yourself to attach to other people, be in love. but there's a willingness to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in my previous relationships, I used to try to choose people and behaviors and conduct myself in a way to limit that possibility. And now, like, I'm just opening myself up to that.
Yeah.
And there's almost a like not a mantra, but an affirmation to myself that I will get hurt. Like,
Yeah.
based on the past, given the way my track record has been, it's like I've always been invested in every relationship, like hoping it's going to work out. But then it doesn't. And, but I use that information in a way to make myself feel more secure now in saying that, like, I've survived all of those breakups and heartaches and heartbreaks. And I can again, I will again. And one of the things I'm really invested in now is creating relationship consciously, and also creating within consciously creating a relationship with someone, having a part of that be the concept, including the concept of conscious uncoupling. I think in the past, I've just kind of created relationships, with this like, head in the sand romantic ideal that we're just going to make this work.
Yeah.
And, anymore now I'm like, it's likely it's like got a timeline.
Yeah.
There's an expiration date we're probably dealing with here. So like, how are we going to deal with that? Because like, I idealize maintaining the good parts of the relationship, being perceptive and aware about what's not working so that you have a better idea of when, where, how, why it's better to change the intimate dynamic of that relationship.
Okay, I have a funny thought for you.
Go.
We're squirreling so hardcore.
Yeah, I love
We've gotten through 2 of the rules, and we will get back to the rules, I promise you. But I've recently gone into the idea of you can go really deep with someone and not see them a lot. So it's like, it's kind of like, I hate to use this analogy, but it's like buying for a department store.
Okay. I'm listening. Go on.
It's from my retail experience.
Okay.
No, but it's like you can go deep with a person and let them see all these wonderful, complicated and beautiful parts of you, and you get to see those parts of them, and you get to have that connection. But then you don't go broad with them, meaning maybe they never meet your parents. Maybe they never go on holidays with you. Maybe you only see them once a month. Maybe there's this, maybe there's that.
Right.
But just because you're going deep with someone doesn't mean you want to go broad and deep. Sometimes you can go, and let's say going only broad with someone would look more like kind of a friendshipy sort of, like best friends, we're pals, but and you can also
spending
go
a lot of time.
Yeah, spending a lot of time.
Maybe it's not quality time. Maybe it's not time with intention.
Right, and they're going to have more touch points in your life across more areas in which you operate. But the person or people that you go deep with may only touch this one really skinny part of your life, but that doesn't mean that the relationship is superficial.
Right.
It can still be very meaningful, very impactful.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
So I was thinking, like, when you're talking about kind of like giving up, certain quality or something like that, I'm like, well, actually you don't have to, because you can still go super, super fucking deep. And you can say, and we have boundaries around how much time I'm going to be able to spend with you. And it looks like this. So you really can have both. It just does take like that intention setting, the boundary setting, all that stuff, and cultivating the depth with someone.
Yeah. And part of what I think that it can actually like cultivate that depth and the trust is in doing those unconventional things. It can oftentimes bring up vulnerable parts of you.
Yeah.
That it's like all of a sudden like relationships turned over on its head.
Yeah.
And you're having to sit there and question, as I often comment that people that are doing ethical non-monogamy these days are kind of like canaries in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
And so like there we are in our vulnerabilities saying like, being confronted with the fact that our comfort zones from the past
Mhm.
have been to just like get on the escalator of intimacy and keep getting more intimate until you're, living together, blah, 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 blah. And so when you're intentionally and transparently doing a relationship in a different way like that, it
Mhm.
can really give you the opportunity to process in a deeper way,
Mhm.
transparently about the experience, that entire experience of trying to figure out together, standing on the same side,
Mhm.
looking at what's coming up for you and figuring out how to move forward with it
Yeah.
without those conventional rules.
Yeah. And
there
some
for you.
partners are going to want to process with you and some aren't.
Yeah.
And that's funny. That's an interesting thing too. It's like some people are going to want to know everything on your mind. And other people
Yeah.
are going to be like, can we not talk about the relationship so much?
Yeah.
And all of
Yeah.
it's good. It's all great as long as you're able to feel satisfied and like you are getting all those emotional needs met. And sometimes you'll find there are areas where, this is actually something I just want to talk to a friend about. And
Right.
this is a
Yeah.
platonic friend thing.
Yeah.
And so in some ways, like for me, polyamory has elevated my desire for friends because I'm like, there
Yeah.
isn't just like one person I lean on all the time.
The one person to meet all your needs.
Yeah.
It's one of the trappings of monogamy.
There is no cloaca.
Yeah. The magic hole. Yeah. The one wonder hole that does it all.
To rule them all.
One
There
hole
can
to
be
bind
only
them.
one. One hole to bind them.
One hole to bind them all. Yeah.
Oh my God. I want to make a t-shirt that's like
One
a
hole to bind them.
chicken and it's cloaca in the foreground and then a gold ring around it. And then
Yeah.
it's the one hole to
One
rule them all.
hole to rule them all.
Yeah.
It shits, it pisses, it lays eggs.
It does
It fucks.
everything.
Yeah. Although, one thing I heard somewhere, I mean, we're still taking comments, by the way. I want someone to comment on this. I heard.
How far we squirreled.
I know. I love it. It's my superpower.
Squirrel.
One thing I did hear is that that chickens don't actually fuck like penis vagina.
Yeah.
That like I don't know exactly what gets the rooster off to this degree, but that they actually shove the semen into the cloaca with their little feet.
Oh, wow. I know that they smash cloacas.
Okay, is that it?
Well, and I don't know if roosters have peckers or if
they should. If anything has a pecker, should have a pecker.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
But I know that
a cock should have a pecker.
certain breeds of ducks, the males and the females, have cloacas and they just smash cloacas.
They must have some really like bionic sperm.
Yeah.
They're not even shot up there. They're just like, I'm going to get that shit. Bionic sperm.
That's the sound of two ducks mating.
Yeah. I think ducks are rapists. But anyway, let's not go there.
Yeah, because then there's the duck with the barbed penis shit.
Barbed weenies.
God.
Oh,
yeah.
Poor girl ducks. Anyway,
no,
we digress.
All right. Rule number 3 for the 6 rules of open relationships is agree on who it's cool to hook up with. So maybe you might be like, please don't hook up with my friends.
Yeah. Or like, so I'm seeing someone right now. And my number 1 rule is don't fuck my sister.
That is a good rule.
Yeah. I was like, that could get weird.
That would get weird.
Mm-hmm.
That would not be okay.
Rule number 2 is if you do fuck my sister, wear a condom. Because she's an ethical slut.
That's true.
Yeah. Rule number 3 is like, don't fuck my close friends.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's a huge world full of like, lots of open vaginas. Like,
right.
Let's just keep it from getting weird.
Can you not do those?
Can you not do those
just don't do those ones.
I know they're easy.
A few.
They're close by and stuff, but anyway.
They're accessible.
Accessible. Accessible. Yes.
But those limits could really look like whatever you both agree on. I mean, it could be, I need her to look exactly like me. Just kidding. No. Or I need her to, I need to not feel threatened. So just don't hook up with anyone hotter than me, or, like it can be, you can ask for whatever you want. Your partner can say no.
Don't
and then
fuck elephants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So so ask for what you're comfortable with to get you into it, and if you're into getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, be as honest as you can about things, like who's cool to hook up with, who's not.
Yeah, like if you're like, saying like, okay, it's cool if you sleep with other people with protection, but maybe not with people that have these diseases.
Yeah.
That's one. That's a thing.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. The other thing, I'm adding more rules.
Oh, there you go. I'm glad this is deepening your own rule book.
Well, I'm deepening their rule book, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I already have these rules. Figure out how much time you will spend. Oh, this is rule number 4. Figure out how much time you're comfortable with spending with other people. And this is a really important one, because time is such a valuable resource, and it's really what
number
you
one.
have. Yeah, it is the number one thing.
The number one source of a version of wealth, I think, to some degree.
Absolutely. So figure out good limits around that. How much time are you comfortable with you spending time with someone and your partner? And make sure, for the love of God, when you spend time with your primary partner again, that it's quality time. Really consciously connect. Try to connect.
It's amazing you say that. That's exactly what I was, that's been my,
Ding.
kind of conscience boner lately.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want. I don't want to be kind of like the person that fills in another person's like time. They do all the other things in their life with intention, and then I'm just there to hold the corpse at the end of the night, or whatever. Like
exactly. Like they just throw their arm around you and you're watching TV together, and that's
great
nice
for some
sometimes.
People. Yeah. There can be that. There absolutely. It's not to say that can't be ever a part of it, but that's what I'm discovering about myself. Recently is that I want to actually. I think that when you're conditioned to just do monogamy, you just end up spending so much time together that you're not conscious about the time that you spend together.
True. Yeah.
And so if you're doing more ethical non-monogamy, you're doing more, more than one relationship at a time, then you end up, that does become, I think, more important, that at least for me, that the time that we spend together, we're actually, intentionally cultivating a relationship. We're intentionally cultivating experiences together. That's just me. I just don't want to do that kind of, not that monogamy is lazy, but I've done lazy monogamy in the past. Where we just get enmeshed and domesticated and, and then whatever.
And then it's like, oh, you again. Hi.
Yeah. It's your turn to take out the garbage. Why'd you do the recycling like this? I've done that for 30 fucking years. I'm ready to do something a little bit more intentional.
Yeah. Love it.
I like it.
Intentions are good. And the most successful couples I know that have opened up their relationship spend very intentional time together. They have date nights, and they have a lot of good date nights. So that's important.
Right. Yeah. You're kind of getting the best of each other again.
Yeah.
It's like keeping alive that courting process, like a lot of times I think in relationships, people can start to take each other for granted. Like Esther Perel says, it's hard to want something that's right here in front of you.
Yeah.
And then your relationship starts to get a little bit smothered by, domestic responsibilities and everything. And if you don't make that time with intention to cultivate and build that other part of your relationship, it ain't there.
Right.
So
it's going to be gone. Yeah.
I'm there with you.
Number 5, agree on how much you'll talk about other relationships.
Yes.
So this means the quantity and the degree of detail.
Yes.
And I like to follow the platinum rule here, which isn't give people how much detail I want. It's to ask them specifically, how much detail would you like, and to give them what they want.
Yeah.
So treat others as they would like to be treated.
Yeah.
So that, your partner might not want to know anything. And
Mhm.
you should respect that. Like, or they
Mhm.
might want to know a lot. And as long as you're comfortable telling them a lot, that's great. So there is consent involved here. So
Yeah.
if
I
a
think that's
partner is
important.
like, and then what'd you do? And then what'd you do? And you're starting to get uncomfortable, like, oh, is this making things worse? You know,
Yeah, are they enjoying that? Is it adding to your relationship,
right.
expanding your relationship, deepening, enriching,
Hmm.
or are they using that for fodder for like, neuroses and insecurity,
Yeah.
comparing themselves
Well, you
and
went down on them and you never go down on me. And
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
the comparing is poison.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6 is agree on how often you'll check in. So that means checking in on a larger scale as far as checking in about your relationship. But then
Mhm.
also, if you're at an event together, you can't
You mean like a sex
a
party
sex
or
party or
club?
a party where you
Okay.
might just be flirting with other people, or
Mhm.
sex club or whatever. Um, agree on how often you're going to check in with each other, and don't do this like, well, just check in with me often. Don't.
Yeah.
Say, I would
Specifics.
like you
Be
to check
specific.
in every 90 minutes and
Yeah.
set a timer on your watch. Like, it's not rude, it's taking care of things. Or
Mhm.
your partner might be like, hey, if I can just catch your eye and we can just like wink at each other every hour, that's
Right.
enough for me. Or a check in could
Right.
look like, let's go out and, have a quick chat or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So agree on what the check in's going to look like, what the cues are, how often they're going to happen, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And you're just going to avoid a ton of drama with that.
Right. I think it's so important to be honest with yourself about how much reassurance you might actually need
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're part of a culture that tends to be sort of like, very autonomy idealizing.
Hmm.
And that's not really realistic for the majority of the people I know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's actually better again to do the hard work up front
Yep.
and create systems that prevent
Yeah.
rather than just repress, endure, and create
Exactly.
cancer in the relationship.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Just don't bibbity bobbity do
Those were
it.
the 6 rules.
Hmm.
Now, I would like to add a 7th, which is you said the word endure.
Yeah.
Do not ever endure. Do not
Yeah.
ever take one for the team,
Mm-hmm.
because that is poison in the well.
Mm-hmm.
That's fuel for resentment, and you don't ever want that. So make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're going into every situation as a hell yes,
Yeah.
from beginning to end. And if you can't find a hell yes, then it's a hell no, and don't do it.
Yeah. Or even like, maybe to have a like, I'm not sure about that.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not feeling a hell yes, not sure. Need
Mhm.
to think about this, feel into this,
Yeah.
and I'll get back to you
But
about
that
it.
means it's a hell no at this second.
Yeah, at this second,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
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 So that means we're stopping and assessing.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is a great agreement that does kind of eliminates a lot of drama is to have an agreement around condoms where it's like, the trick that I've seen is that if someone has sex that they're not, with someone that maybe their partner is like unsure of, like, ooh,
Mhm.
this person has, unsafe practices, or, there's just something that makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, lack of
Say
trust.
there's, let's enact the condom contract where it's like, okay, you slipped and fell and you weren't wearing a condom and your penis went into their butthole. And so now I'm, without judgment, without shame, I'm saying I would like for you and I to use condoms together until we can get STI tested.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's not about shame. It's not about punishment. It is simply about self-preservation,
Self-love.
self-love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just saying, I'm not judging
Yeah.
anything that happened. I'm just
Yeah.
saying this is our agreement. And so
Yeah.
go ahead and make that agreement up front. And if you ever need to enact it, it's just a very peaceful, loving thing to do. It
Mhm.
doesn't need to be emotionally charged. You might feel emotionally charged on the inside, like, how could you,
Mhm.
but on the outside, it needs to not feel that way. Because the minute your partner starts feeling like you're shaming them, they're going to start shutting down And when they're shutting down, your, communication stopping and things are not working. So
Yeah. I agree.
That's so actually I'm going to say 6 rules plus 2 bonus rules.
2 boner rules. Yeah.
2 boner rules.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Those are my boner rules.
Yeah. And I think that one of the challenging things too about doing like ethical non-monogamy in any way is that transparency aspect where you're empowering people with the honest truth about who you are and what you've done. And you're giving them the opportunity, you're giving them the information they need to make the choices that they need to feel safe and take care of themselves. And if you if you go against kind of the rules of the relationship, it's so important to do that, even though you risk, less penile stimulation or something because they're going to use a condom, or like, them pulling back in the relationship, them having disappointment. It's all kind of like a self-concerned, self-absorbed thing.
Right.
And that is one of the things that I think ethical non-monogamy gives you an opportunity to develop more character, selflessness, honesty. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And that's the one person that, I don't think you can really lie to. As much as we tend to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, like when you're in integrity and in dignity, with yourself and these codes of conduct and ideals, you're just going to be more at peace with yourself and all of your relationships. You have nothing to hide.
Yeah. And it's really such a wonderful feeling to be able to be honest with a partner and have them go, that's awesome. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
You don't know how they're
an
going to
experience.
respond. Yeah. They might be supportive and then just be like, we need to wear condoms for a while. If you can get tested, that'd be great.
Yeah. Or they might be like, oh, I'm not worried. They had their STI test done, blah, blah, blah. And I know them and so I trust them to be reputable about, when they say their tests were done and that they're negative, blah, blah, so like your partner can surprise you with their openness and their compersion. The beautiful word compersion. Oh my gosh. And look, one of my most compersive, beautiful partners just called me.
Oh my God.
That was sweet.
Tell them to call in. Let's put them online. Whoever they are.
That would be so funny.
Hey, how's it going?
3 minutes left in the show.
3 minutes.
Sweetie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, let's say it now. Let's put out the thing about now there's actually a link to your PayPal, Venmo.
Yes,
Venmo. Get them all on there, for God's sakes. Like,
I know, PayPal got hung up because of our Instagram name.
Oh,
so
God.
I need to
puritanical
fix I know it is. It's such bullshit. We live in such
bad.
A sex negative culture.
We could call it
such
shoot
bullshit.
'em up. We could call it kill everyone, and it'd probably be fine. As long as it wasn't Nazi oriented. But yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed by that. But yes. Oh, thought for the day. Deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts.
Don't stop your loving behaviors. Your partner is not an extension of yourself. Do not take them for granted.
Word.
Never withhold desirable qualities that your partner might need or want.
Like what? What comes to mind?
Well, your loving behaviors, I think, is mainly that. So all of that was like a subhead to don't stop your loving behaviors. And I am, I'm feeling that one so much right now.
Me too.
Don't stop loving.
Yeah. A lot of people, I think, withhold love from a place of fear, withhold expressing, desire and validation because they're afraid of getting hurt.
Yeah.
And, I think it's great actually to just embrace getting hurt.
Yeah.
Lean into it, so that you can just it's going to happen somewhere along the way anyway. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Let's find out, where this is really going to go. And
you're going to get hurt. You're going to fuck up. You're going to,
you're going to hurt. You're going to
be disappointed.
Yep.
And you get to choose which areas in which that'll happen and to what extent sometimes. And sometimes you don't even get to choose. So just expect it and know that it's not fatal.
Yeah.
Unless the hurt is like the severing of your head.
Yeah.
Then that's fatal.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, that would definitely suck.
But yeah, that's a great foundation to build a relationship
Yeah.
upon as well. You know, acknowledging those truths about love and life and relationship. It's a learning process spent learning how
Yeah.
to learn. So it's like, that's it. You know, we're
Yeah.
never going to be done. We're never going to, you know, be perfect.
Yep.
It's just, you know,
Don't stop your loving behaviors toward yourself as well. There
that's
you go.
true.
Yes.
First and foremost, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yes.
Yeah, because you
Definitely.
know, starts with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
This was
now
our
back.
self-help episode. I love it.
That's right.
It's 5:59.
Hugs,
Yeah.
everybody. Hugs.
Yeah.
Yes. So we
Throw
have
down.
Patreon.
Yep.
We have Venmo.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that shiznet helps keep the show running. You know, yeah.
And send in your questions at wasthatAnorgy@gmail.com.
Yes, and us woke ass bitches will try and answer them.
Yes, because we are woke as fuck.
Woke as fuck. Yeah.
I'm
We're
woke.
whack.
I'm woke as fuck.
Yeah. I like that. That's your new stage name. Woke ass fuck. I love it. I'll work on mine. Nothing's coming on my mind right now. Yeah. Well, now it's time for us to go to a barbecue, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna go barbecue,
all right.
which is why
Oh,
we're all
yeah.
sunny and summery.
That's
It's like
right.
76 degrees and sunny.
Got my swimsuit
Yes,
on
that's
under
right.
this.
Me
Yep.
too. This is my swimsuit.
I know. I can tell.
Swam.
You're boobalicious.
Boobalicious.
Booblegum.
I bought it. It's a boobalicious swimsuit.
You got your boobalicious bubbles right there.
My bubbles is bubbling today. All right, that is the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Nom nasty, motherfuckers. Nom
Such
nasty.
a cunt, resilient, beautiful, flexible.
Eager beaver, baby. Well, what are you gonna do with this eager beaver, baby?